Hey everyone, welcome back to the course Salesforce integration. In this lecture, we will talk about outbound message. Outbound messages are used to send the data from Salesforce to any external system without writing any web service inside Salesforce. And these messages are also secure. We can use some certificates where both the parties will agree. Both the parties means Salesforce and the third party system which we are trying to send the data. Outbound message uses notifications method of our SOAP API to send the data over the endpoint that has been designed to receive the outbound messages. We will also configure this endpoint in our next lecture. As outbound message uses SOAP API to send the data, the communication format will always be going to XML, and Salesforce also accepts a valid acknowledgement from the third party system. Valid acknowledgement means Salesforce is sending some sort of data to the third party system. Salesforce is expecting them to send a valid acknowledgement so that Salesforce can mark that message as a success message and Salesforce doesn't retry that message to send it again. If there is any problem occurs while sending the outbound message, what Salesforce is doing is behind the scene they are retrying that message up to 24 hours. So if your listener is down or there is any other problem, Salesforce will again send that message, and then Salesforce will keep sending that message up to 24 hours. And if the listener is not up to 24 hours, then the message will lost. And one more important thing about outbound message is it is only sending the record level information to the external system. So here is a workflow, or we can say that the pictorial representation how our outbound message works. So outbound message is a part of our workflow rule. Most of us know that workflow rule has an action which is saying as outbound message. So that is what we are going to use. So here is our workflow rule which is going to trigger our outbound message. So what happens? Salesforce is sending a SOAP message to the web service endpoint. The endpoint that our third party system or the external system developers is going to provide us, and one message can contains up to 100 notifications. What does that mean is, suppose that you are updating your record in a bulk way using some batch apex or data loader. So this SOAP API message can contain the information about 100 records in a single go. That means if you are uploading 1000 records, it is going to send 10 SOAP messages, where each SOAP message will contains up to 100 notification records. And once web service is receiving your outbound message, that means the data, it is again going to send a SOAP acknowledgement response. That means again it is going to send you some sort of acknowledgement which is going to be in a certain way which Salesforce accepts. We will see what is a structure for that notifications that Salesforce receives, and if Salesforce don't receive the notification in that form, Salesforce consider that the message has been failed. And then this is again which is an optional callback which is using again Salesforce SOAP API to tell the system to perform some extra task based on the response from your third party system. Before we talk more about this, let's quickly see an example here. There are two systems, Salesforce and a database, to store the leads. So whenever a lead is coming into Salesforce, the requirement is this must be sent to external database. So what developer had decided to use outbound message, and there is also one additional requirement which is saying if there is any duplicate lead going to external database, then database will notify the Salesforce that this lead is duplicate. Please mark this as duplicate in your database. So how this is going to happen in using workflow rule and outbound message. So this is the first part of requirement where we need to send the information to external system. We have developed our outbound message. We are sending that to the external system, and external system is receiving, sending us a valid acknowledgement response. Now up to the first point is clear. We are done with outbound message. Then there is the additional part of this outbound message. Once the external system sent us the acknowledgement, they are doing additional processing where they are checking if the lead is duplicate or not. If lead is duplicate, they are again sending notification to Salesforce. How that notification is being sent with this optional callback URL parameter. And this URL we can get either using partner or enterprise URL with the help of our session ID, which we are sending to third party system. So that is how our outbound message work. Most of the time, typically we are working on this part and we are not matching this part in very irregular way, we can say, or we can say this part is something which we use very rarely whenever there is very extreme requirement which we wanted to use with the help of workflow rule. So we are going to do this implementation into our next lecture. And this is our notification acknowledgement that we talked about. There should be a valid format that Salesforce is receiving. So this is some sort of SOAP message that Salesforce is receiving here. So as we know, SOAP is containing some sort of envelopes, and then it has header and body. So under the body, we have got notification response, which is saying there is one output which is having acknowledgement. And this can have two values, either true or false. If it is having or sending true, that means the message is received successfully. If it is sending false, that means the message is not received successfully. There is some failure. So this is what we are, and how we can get this. Either we can copy and paste it for any workflow rule. And there is one more thing which I will show you how to get that. And for that, we are going to use SOAP UI. So please go ahead and download that SOAP UI software before the next lecture. So to download that, what you can do is you can go to SOAP UI, and then you can just click on this download part and then download that software into your system. This is what you need to do before the next lecture. You can just click on download ready API and then download it. Next thing that you need to do is you need to create an account into a web, we can say into a system, which is again available in the cloud, which is Pipedream. And this is what we are going to use as our external system to set up our workflow rule, to create some external, we can say endpoint, and that endpoint will continuously receive our outbound message. So you need to search for Pipedream and then go to Pipedream and then create an account. I already have created an account, so I'm quickly logged in here. And in the next lecture, we will see how to create the endpoint in the Pipedream and then how to use that endpoint into our outbound message and then how to receive the data with all the scenarios like error, success. So we'll see you into the next lecture. Thank you.